All right, good morning everybody, are you ready? All right,
Yes,
well,
sir.
thanks for joining us. My name is Sean Green, spelled S-H-A-W-N-G-R-E-E-N. I'm a detective with the North Metro Tactical Response Unit of the Austin Police Department. Over the past 4 weeks, members of the North Metro Tactical Response Unit collaborated with APD Region 1 Criminal Investigations Division, APD Financial Crimes, patrol units, the Travis County Parks Police, and the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department to build a proactive enforcement operation regarding the ongoing vehicle burglaries occurring in Austin Parks. The goal of the operation was to target known offenders of these crimes in an effort to reduce the number of incidents. As a result of these efforts, 12 arrests were made for offenses varying from engaging in organized criminal activity, credit card abuse, failure to identify, request to apprehend, burglary of a vehicle, and driving without a license. The individuals arrested have been identified as Deshauna Penson, Jayana Smith, Rakisha Thompson, Taylor Jackson, Destiny Thomas, and Artrell Vincent. Additional arrests were made twice for Armony White, Kevin Carter, and Jamila Westmoreland. As a result of these arrests, we've not only identified and arrested repeat offenders, but we have recovered stolen property from many of the victims involved in these senseless crimes, including but not limited to bank cards, purses, wallets, and other personal property. The investigation has been and continues to be a complex and collaborative effort with many moving parts and many units involved as we continue to identify the suspects involved. This continues to be an ongoing investigation with additional arrests and charges pending and forthcoming. APD would like to thank the victims who have come forward with information that we use to help stop these criminals from causing harm to those in our community who are simply trying to enjoy Austin's beautiful parks. The tips from the community have been used to help us in making arrests, and we want to express our gratitude to those who have come forward to assist us in our investigation. With the spring festival season approaching, APD reminds the community to be vigilant in keeping yourself and your belongings safe. APD would like to share some tips to avoid becoming a victim of vehicle burglaries. Number 1, always lock your doors. Ensure your vehicle doors and windows are securely locked, even if you're only leaving for a short period. Number 2, hide your valuables. Keep any valuables out of sight. Secure them in a trunk, secure them somewhere where they cannot be seen, or better yet, take them with you or leave them at home. Park in well-lit areas. Whenever possible, park in well-lit, populated areas. Thieves are less likely, not 100%, but are less likely to target vehicles in locations with high visibility and foot traffic. Use anti-theft devices. Consider investing in steering wheel locks, alarms, or GPS tracking devices to deter potential thieves and assist with the recovery of property if you are victimized. Be aware of your surroundings. Stay vigilant and aware of your surroundings when parking or returning to your vehicle, and report any suspicious activity. 6, install a dash cam. Find a camera that can record when a vehicle is parked and off, or has sensors that can detect motion or impact near the vehicle. Having video evidence of a potential suspect can help detectives in solving your case. Anyone with information may submit your tip anonymously through Capital Area Crime Stoppers Program by visiting austincrimestoppers.org or calling 512-472-8477. If you are a victim of a crime that is currently happening, or you're witnessing a crime in progress, please call 911. If you need to report a crime that is no longer active and occurred in the past, please call 311 or use austiniReport.com to file an online report. At this point, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I want to confirm, the APD release we received this morning said 11 arrests, and you're saying 12?
12, because one of them was twice. One more was twice.
Right, thank you.
This isn't anything new, having these break-ins at the parks. I guess for this operation, why now? What resources went into this?
So resources would be the key word, right? Everybody knows resources are an issue for us right now with our staffing levels. What we're doing is we're trying to prioritize crimes as they're occurring. In this particular situation, we did have knowledge about these cases. Vehicle burglaries are very hard to detect. It's a lot of timing and just opportunity and a lot of resource allocation. What happened in this particular situation was patrol did a great job responding to a case of Mount Manel and made an arrest of Armony White. At that point, we had obtained actionable intelligence. And at that point, as investigators, myself and Detective Garcia were able to get involved, dig further into the cases, and start finding out who are our main co-conspirators, what charges are pending for them, what cases can we resolve. And then we started to target those individuals. Rather than sitting and waiting and hoping that people would show up at a particular park at a particular time, we took a proactive enforcement action.
It seems these people were known to y'all, or they have priors. I guess that would be known. So can it be frustrating when you know these people and they're out again, doing it again and again?
I would say you kind of answered that question yourself, right? It's absolutely frustrating for us and for the public. But what we're going to focus on as investigators and as officers is doing our job. Our job includes responding to the scenes of the crime, collecting the evidence, gathering the evidence necessary to pursue charges when appropriate, filing arrest warrants, filing search warrants to recover stolen property and link suspects to particular crimes. We're going to make our arrests, we're going to prepare our reports, and the rest is out of our hands.
Back in February, their first arrest was made, and at that time I was told that this wasn't a trend or a rising crime. Is that still the case?
I'm sorry, you were told what?
That it wasn't a rising crime or a trend, it was just something that was typically on the radar. Is that still the case?
I would say at this point you have different information that would lead you to believe it was in fact a group of co-conspirators working together as a large criminal enterprise. We've made these 12 arrests. We're aware there's at least 2 or 3 dozen people involved in these crimes, so we're going to continue to pursue those individuals.
So is this a trend going on in Austin right now?
I would call that a trend, would you? Seems
Just
fair, right?
wanna confirm.
So then, are you guys looking for more people outside of the co-conspiracy here? I mean, what's kind of the next steps from here after you guys get all the people that you're particularly looking for right now?
So it's going to depend on how the dynamics of the investigation continue, right? So what we have involved in these cases, everybody's aware that there's vehicle burglaries, right? But additionally, on top of the vehicle burglaries, they're then taking those stolen cars and conducting financial crimes, fraudulent purchases, right? So this spider web just continues to grow. We're going to continue to work on actionable intelligence as it arises. One arrest may lead us to another individual. One seizure may lead us to another. All we can do is continue to follow the evidence.
Can you talk about some of the notable parts that this is occurring in, so people in the community can be, mindful about some of those tips that you were mentioning earlier?
I mean, I would say use those tips at every park. I know I'm not as familiar with all the exact stats and where they came from, but I know obviously Mount Bunnell was very popular. The 360 Bridge at Kennebacker was very popular. Emma Long Park. There are any number of parks, Bull Creek, where essentially wherever there's a large gathering of individuals who are walking away from their cars, they're parking in a concentrated area, they're walking away from their vehicles, that's where they're going to target.
Cameras were used, either a victim snapped a photo of a license plate or a vehicle. I think that happened maybe twice, and then another one was some sort of camera. Talk to me about how cameras can maybe be utilized to help catch these people.
Technology is a huge aid, right? And it's something that we are struggling, we're a little behind the curve on, I guess. What we know is that the use of technology helps us to identify, like you said, the vehicles, the suspects. We know these suspects were using multiple vehicles at different locations at varying times a day. Again, there wasn't a set pattern. We were able to utilize information from our Flock LPR system, which was a great asset. We had individuals who had dash cams in their vehicles, so when they were burglarized, the suspects were actually captured inside the vehicle. We had witnesses and victims who grabbed photos very quickly as the suspects were fleeing in the vehicle. All of that information was helpful in the investigation.
Have we seen since this arrest, I know it's fairly soon, but that the break-ins have gone down at all?
I don't know yet the ultimate response. Part of the reason for doing this press conference is making sure that we're getting it out there so the public knows that we're out there taking these efforts, as do the suspects, right? There needs to be some accountability to be like, hey, this is no longer a free-for-all. Somebody's watching us, and that's what we intend to do.
Do you guys have any plans moving forward for how you want to increase security in these parks?
I don't have a specific answer to that. I can tell you that it's one of the things that we're doing is making sure that we educate our patrol officers. Like I said, a couple of these arrests were responses from heads-up patrol officers who were familiar with the cases, who were familiar with the suspects and the vehicles. So when they responded to the area and they saw a known suspect vehicle in the area, conducted a traffic stop, recovered stolen property, arrested those individuals. So education on our interior is important, making sure our people know what signs to look for, and then education of the public, right? We've had a couple of these cases that were resolved because someone was aware and they saw someone else doing something and said, hey, I need to call. That I know what's about to happen here.
Only one more question.
How long has this been going on? Because we've been doing burglaries and park stories for quite a while. How long has this particular group been in operation, do you think?
From my understanding, we're looking at a couple of years that this particular group has been involved in various participation, right? Again, a group of people gets together, they start working together, they have a fallout, these three splinter off, they bring in 4 more friends, they go off and start running their spree. On this side, you have like these splinter groups, but they all know there's money to be made in this particular crime, so they're going to continue to do it. Again, it's no different than our shoplifting groups, right? There's money to be made, people are going to victimize others.
Thanks, guys. We'll do a quick switch out for Spanish.
Thanks, y'all.
If you don't